I do want to ask you before we get off, if there was one thing that you wanted to tell to, an Ohio State fan, Buckeye Nation, at times didn't support you, anything you wanted to tell them that was maybe just like misunderstood at a time or wasn't, received correctly, please, do share.
Yeah, man. When things happen in life where you can't control things that happen, y'all can control what you can control.
A little bit about my background. I played at Notre Dame with the St. Ed's, actually. So from Cleveland with the St. Ed's.
What year?
I graduated in 15. So, yeah, you were gone. But also, the game that the first time I saw you play live was the state championship game versus St. Ed's. And so I was like, ever since, for me, this is cool to me because it's like I get to interview a person or talk to a person that I grew up watching. And obviously, if from Ohio, you remember that state championship game, probably the best player on the field, and some cuts that you made in the snow I've never seen made before. So yeah, it's dope just to be able to, be in front of you and obviously talk about that. But obviously in Columbus now, and obviously moved on from the high school days, college days, and even the NFL days. And so kind of just want to touch on like what's going on behind us. But yeah, that listeners, obviously you probably hear an echo in the background, but I want Braxton, to touch on what he's doing and where we're at right now.
Yeah, so man, it's been a journey for sure. Being able to do the stuff I'm doing with the kids right now is phenomenal. It's definitely a dream. It's a blessing. Truly grateful for it too, man. Because when you see it, I had the vision since I was in college to do something at this magnitude. You know what I'm saying? So being able to, bring the kids to establishment, up and growing and flourishing business where we are right now, Issues office, in the short north, being able to bring the kids down here to understand this is it's a corporation business that we have right now, and also I'm involved with a company as well. So more than definitely an athlete and being into the entrepreneur space. And speaking on that, the brand that I'm walking on my hat, Charg1ng, I created that since I was, I want to say a junior in college. That's when everything transpired when I got hurt twice and I didn't know if I was going to be able to play football again. So, I had my son at the time and I always, love sports. I always want to be a part of sports. So I created something that was going to stick with me, with my legacy and everything that I love doing, my passion and, my God-given ability to give back, so being on the stage, and you see in the background, we got parents, we got kids running around, I think we're cleaning up and stuff right now in the event. And so as today, I just do something together for the kids, media day, come out here, enjoy the time with the teammates, the parents, and being able to, come take pictures, videos, and have the atmosphere as a young pro. And, we did interviews with them as well to prep them, into a space where, some of the kids that was asking questions, they want to get to the big leagues. So for my duty, for my space that I'm in right now, I feel like I can show them the way and prep them to be young pros at a young age, because when they get to college and, be stars in high school or wherever off, NBA, NFL, soccer, whatever, they already been prepped underneath the brand Charg1ng, so that's the thing that we've been doing. That's what we're doing today, man. Had a good time, enjoying the process with the kids. That's what I love to do. And for sure, that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, now even just watching this stuff, and I even saw you giving an interview to like 3 kids right there. And I was, just reflecting back to when I did my first interview. I think I was like 7 years old. I was going to the Junior Olympics track. And it's a video though, but I just literally didn't look up. I was quiet, I was shy, I was scared. And I reflected back to that moment because it's like I had zero training. It was like the time that I had to get on camera and answer some questions, it was live. It was, it was And so for you to, obviously take that opportunity, obviously with your brand, with your name, to put these kids, in front of, obviously you, but also in front of a microphone, in front of a camera, and give them opportunity to have a step up.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, I mean, you know, there's like media training is huge. Your brand, your name, image, and likeness now is very huge. And so when you talk about, you know, being in college and having that vision, was it after the injuries, or was it kind of just like maybe when the league wasn't looking like as sure as it was, to where it's like, okay, maybe I got to start thinking about something else? Has that always been a passion, or was it kind of just, you know, started maybe after the injuries, you started thinking about how else can I impact the community, you know, and still be involved in the game of, you know, football and other sports as well?
I say, man, you know, being a lover of Nike showed me the way how to be on a prominent brand, and I always want a brand and how to understand how I can have ownership and do something to where I can create something that's gonna be sustainable. Then, you know, I had that, but it wore off because, you know, I was doing my thing in football, really wasn't focused on that at the time. Then, you know, when I got sat down, you know, that's the second injury, I had to take a whole year off. So I'm thinking, like, in the back of my head, like, I'm doing rehab for a whole year to get back into, you know, playing mode and stuff like that. So I had an opportunity to figure out what was my passion, what was my love outside of just being an athlete. So I was a father at the time, and I wanted something to stick well with me. So it took me a long time to understand what did I want to do with a brand and find a name. So, you know, one night, you know, just sitting there, praying and meditating and understanding, like, why me? You know, everybody got that question every once in a while. But now I understand. I had a calling on a bigger stage, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how I came up with the name Charg. I got the 1 in there. That's why I changed my number to 1 when I switched my position to receiver. Because, you know, everything I strive to be, man, I try to be the best at it. And I always want to be number 1. My competitive nature, my ability to, you know, to put my focus on one thing and take it to the next level, you know, that's why I put the 1 in it. And I became adamant about, you know, maybe I should call it charging, because, you know, my battery is never always full. So I'm getting to that point where, like, well, I think it makes sense. So I got the patent, made a name, put the 1 in there, and it stuck on with me. So I made that. And I had the vision to have youth sports, tournaments, leagues, mentoring, STEM, esports, and many more things. So I made that. And, you know, Nike set the standard high for me. So I wanted to mimic what they got going on, and I just want to bring it from where they at, bring it to the Midwest, where somebody done it and really believe in doing it for the right reasons with no motive behind it.
Right.
And it came from a passion, and it came from a place where, you know, the universe gave me the opportunity to sit down for a whole year to come up with this. Now look where we at. You know, the kids getting, you know, invited to Nike May Hoops. The kids is, you know, getting looked at as top 5, top 2, top 3 team. The young kid, Zion, Casey, you know, going viral on ESPN. Everybody know who they are now. Like, it's crazy because when they walk in the gym, older kids come in to see them warm up and just be like, "What up, little man? I see you doing your thing."
Right.
How do you think that make them feel as a little kid? Like, yo, you got older guys looking at me like, you know, I'm special. Mm-hmm. So, you know, being able to do that stuff, man, that warms my heart. And, you know, doing things at a high level, man, you know, you be rewarded. So things really work ever since I created the brand.
Yeah, I feel like that was around the time that, like, D-Lo had loading going.
Yeah.
He had loading with the
We did
with the battery emoji, and then you also had, I don't know if y'all was at Ohio State at the same time, but and then you had Charg1ng with the battery going too. So
yeah,
that was definitely a point in time where you know, I was a freshman. I think I was a freshman at Notre Dame. Your last year.
Yeah.
And so when you made that transition, obviously, you know, the Charg1ng stuck and all that stuff. But yeah, you talk about the passion, you talk about the transition, and now definitely want to get back into just, you know, diving into some of your background, because this all had to start from somewhere. You know, we don't need to go back to, like, you know, young, you know, 8-year-old, 10-year-old Braxton, but
yeah,
to the Huber Heights Wayne Braxton, you know, it was even, I think I saw that, like, even, you know, Coach Tressel recruited you as an 8th grader.
He did.
So
how'd you see that?
Okay, well, might have made a call to him, but
Dang, that's very top notch right there.
he recruited you as an 8th grader, and that speaks volume to like what you're doing now, because you're working with 4th graders, you're working with 5th graders, things like that, to where it's like eventually college coaches nowadays, like you talked about with Sports Center, the social media, the opportunity to go viral. A college coach can maybe hit up a 6th grader nowadays and offer it. And so you provided a platform, you provided, guidance to help them along in that situation is great. But back when you were in 8th grade, and obviously the spotlight was on you, and then obviously through Wayne and being the number 1 quarterback and, number 1 player in Ohio and all those things, right? Where did that hungry, that mindset, where'd that come from?
I think, man, that's all we did. We didn't have social media when I was growing up. We didn't have, only thing we had is MySpace, but we barely had internet. Right. So so my thing is I'm going outside and playing all day long. And that's what, I think that transpired to where you ride bikes, being outside, you mimicking your favorite player on ESPN. You want to do this move outside and stuff like that, man. So what really got the hunger was, growing up in Springfield, Ohio, there really wasn't nobody that I could look up to that did it in a major way, and really take it to the next level where like, I want to be like him. Nobody like that around. So like, why not be me? So I'm gonna step the standard high, and I'm gonna focus up and understand where I come from, a little small town. But there's many more things, opportunities and things that's going on outside of Springfield, Ohio. So I had the mindset. I had a great, family upcoming bringing, my brother, other brother, my family's together, my mom and dad. So, I told my dad, like, I want to go to the NFL. And that was my thing. Of course, I played different sports, but my thing was football came so seamless to me. I mean, it was like to a point where, I go out there, I already know I'm going to score before the play even snap. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a mentality that I had, the killer instinct. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's from the higher power gods, you know what I'm saying? Some stuff you can't really explain. So I knew it was in me, so I just took the opportunity. I know something's in me, and it's pushed me to be the best. So I'm going to listen to my intuition, and I'm going to do that. And I didn't take no days off. And, I used to play pickle games with my older brother. So that's one thing that, elevated my game as well, because he's, 6 years older than me. So me being, 10 years old, going outside, playing against 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds and stuff like that, and really dominating, doing my thing, even though they probably let me score sometimes, but, giving that confidence at a young age and playing street ball. And I was rough around the edges a little bit. And that's what, when you see me playing Ohio State, I didn't care. I'll go out there, I'll play hard to get hurt. And I really want to be known as a hard-working player. I want to be known as a highlight reel. I give it my all. That's why I was injury prone. That's the type of mindset I had. I couldn't turn it off. So that's what it was.
I brought up Coach Trussell obviously recruiting you. You ain't look at any other schools, did you?
I entertained it.
Nowadays, you can take unlimited officials now, which is crazy in college. But the reason I bring that up, just in tying it back to Charg1ng as well, just with the brand and just, the identity that you want to create, and how much you want to help these kids, whether it's through adversity, whether it's through injuries, whether it's through family life, whatever it is, there's going to be adversity. Yeah. So obviously for you, going to Ohio State and being recruited and, having a relationship with Trussell for so long, and then him not being there when you got there, or you expecting to maybe learn from Terrell Pryor when you get there, and him not being there. So obviously you getting thrown into the fire, having to start. Coach Fickle is the interim coach.
Yeah.
And it's a 6 and 7 season following 11-2 or a 10-2 season and 11-1 seasons. So being thrown in that hometown guy, number 1 quarterback, all those type of things, and then you get thrown into this situation. Talk about that a little bit, and maybe did you even maybe consider going somewhere else after all that adversity before you even step on campus happened?
Like you mentioned, I was getting recruited at 8th grade, so my dad was taking me to senior days, one-day camps. as the kids do right now. You know, they're like 17, 18, 16. I'm 13 at the time. Like I said, I was playing ball with my older brother. So when I was 13, bro, I was still the same height. And they're like still the same height. I was super fast. I used to run a 4.5. So it's like me going up there competing with high school kids, they can't tell if I was in 8th grade, middle school, or they thought I was like 16, 18. So there's a gap missing. So when I was going, Coach Stress was there. And one time, you know, I did like agility drill or something like that. I blew somebody out the water. They're like, we didn't invite you. Like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? So, told him my name. My dad's right there looking. And I just pointed to my dad, you know, then I'll go off and finish the drill and stuff like that. You know, I killed it, did my thing, you know, killed the day, you know, effortlessly, stuff like that. Playing hard, like I was talking about. Towards the end, you know, we walking out. All I hear is, no beat. Right. I'm looking. That's Coach Tress. You know what I'm saying? So he's talking to me, telling us to come here real quick, and I'm trying to figure out who I am at the time. So he heard very cares about me. I guess he was watching from a distance. At the time, I don't know how that stuff works when you're in college and, you know, young guys come out there and competing. So he come up to us, you know, me being young, I can't remember, but was talking to my dad. Ever since then, they kept in touch, you know. Ever since then, you know, he said, wherever you go, my eyes are on you and you on me. And wherever you go, you will have my commitment and I'm going to offer you wherever you go. So I kept that back in my mind, you know, and ever since then, we was tied in. Became a freshman, went to Wayne High School, did my thing as a freshman, recruited highly. But the thing is, Cincinnati was my first offer, Ohio State was my second. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, boom, he kept his word right after the season. After that was curtains. So ever since we had a relationship in the 8th grade, I don't worry about nowhere else, bro. Like all the schools and everything is coming up to me and stuff like that, stacks and mail coming, I ain't even open. I'm not even entertaining that. And like I said, but being able to commit early and, you know, going to some place where I always dreamed about, right up the street where I'm from. Having a guy recruit me since I was in 8th grade, believing in the vision, believing in me, making an opportunity believable for me as a young kid. You know, it kind of hurt my heart that, you know, transaction that happened with all the guys that got suspended. Coach Stress got in, you know, the mix of that just because he was a coach and trying to, you know, defend the players and stuff, you know. So it was heartbreaking at the time, but, you know, knowing me, I ain't going to stop. The train keep moving. I still got to get to where I need to be. So we kept in touch. Ever since then, we still keep in touch. So he shows up to my clubs. He's coming to my camp in Canton Hall of Fame, you know, the Charg1ng camp. He's coming out there, you know, meet and greet for the kids and stuff like that. So we still tied in to this day. So it's a big stepping stone for everybody, you know, all that stuff that transpired, but we still locked in. So that's what it's all about. It's all about the relationships at the end of the day.
I was going to ask you because I didn't obviously go to Ohio State, but obviously Ohio State top 3 in recruiting class every year. So I never really dove into. This is why I do it, but we gonna hate this, but I grew up in Michigan.
Ain't no wrong with it. I got a lot of gold highlights. You know,
like I grew up a Michigan fan, but so like when I got recruited by Urban, and so like even when that recruitment process happened, I really did entertain it because like my heart has always been with Michigan, so I'm never gonna entertain it.
Yep.
Ended up going to Notre Dame, but what separates Ohio State from other universities, you know, in recruiting? Because like a lot of kids talk about, we want to go south, we want to go to warm weather and things like that, but it's never a conversation when Ohio State's brought up. It's like they don't mind going to the snow, they don't mind going to the north. It's just I feel like what makes Ohio State that great, like what in terms of recruiting and getting kids locked in.
Well, you know what turned my head was me actually coming up here and seeing the campus, seeing how they treat their players, see the culture, seeing, you know, all that people take care of each other outside of this, playing sports. It's like a brotherhood. When they say that, they mean it, man. Like, still to this day, I got guys in my kids' program right here that I play ball with. They trust me enough to bring their kids to my program, and it's like tied into the earth. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, man. It's like a feeling when you go somewhere, you go to your grandma's house, you feel comfortable. You go there, you can lay out, you can go to sleep, take a nap, wake up, eat some food. The food's gonna be on the stove. You can, hey grandma, can I get this? It's like a good feeling, you know what I'm saying? And when I went different places, I visited West Virginia, Cincinnati. I can't remember where else.
I'm not gonna lie, you in West Virginia would have been crazy though.
I know
that like following like Pat White, Gina, like.
Yeah, I was on that way. Trust me. Trust me.
That was all the NCAA video games growing up.
Yeah. Yep. But it didn't feel like home. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I got the intuition, man, like the energy that I feel in certain things that don't match it, I won't mess with it. You know what I'm saying? So I went to Old State. I'm like, dang, this set the standard high. Mm-hmm. So ever since then, man, they committed to me and I committed to them, and they took care of me. So that's probably one of the things I could probably say that's different from different universities that I visit.
Yeah. And so now even going into that following year, the February year, and then y'all bring in her, and obviously things change quick.
Yep.
You go undefeated season, obviously because of the sanctions and all that stuff, you didn't get to play for a postseason game, play for a bowl game, and all those things. I want to touch on Urban in that aspect. I know we just talked about Trussell and, y'all relationship there, but for a coach to, come into a team, obviously with 6 and 7, come into a team, go undefeated, what type of he got to be some crazy type of motivator. You know what I mean? Because year one, obviously, the Big Ten, it was I would say it was solid back there. It was solid.
It's some real ball boys.
To come, be a first-time head coach or be a first-time coach or first-year coach at Ohio State, and then to take the team, to an undefeated season with no postseason to play for. What kind of motivator did that make him? What type of coach did that make him?
I think, bro, Coach Meyer is that guy. Before we get anything started anywhere for out, he was at Florida doing this thing with guys that, that got talent, but he put them in a perfect situation where they can showcase their talents. So me watching him, all right, it was going on. First team meeting, everybody's lounging. You can see how we was relaxing right now. That was a culture, you know what I'm saying? But him coming into the first team meeting, he coming with energy that is unmatched. Ain't nobody's like him. I'm gonna be honest. I've been around a lot of coaches. There's not one guy I can name on top of my head that's like him when he talks, and everybody's gonna listen. You're gonna sit up just like this, back straight, chest forward. You're gonna pay attention. You ain't gonna take his eyes off this guy. And he makes you listen to where like he's I wouldn't say like a motivator, but he's like a guy that makes you want to play for him just because the way he acts and carries himself. Because he's a dog, and he gonna talk his stuff. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna let down for nobody. He's gonna let you know. So me being a part of that, that's what I need. That's where I came from. That's what type of mentality that I have. That's what type of background I had coming from Springfield. Like, you know what I'm saying? We playing ball, street ball and pickup games, not being in the house, being outside all day, being rough around the edges. That's that guy, and that's what I needed to take me to the next level. So for me, being a leader and a quarterback, for him wanting to come and coach me, because he was recruiting me too. He came and we collided just because I was talking to him going to Florida, but transpired Coach Tress left and he was coming. He wanted to coach me. So at the time, I'm thinking like, this is what a blessing is all about, because the offense matched my style of play, and the guys that surrounded me matched their type of style of play as well. So like having him come into my life and talking that cash like he talked, man, he a different breed. Yeah. And I don't think nobody else gonna be just like him. Cause we come from an era that's unmatched. So Coach Meyer, he makes you want to play. He makes you want to run through a brick wall, and that's how he talks. And it might come to a team meeting, it might be sluggish, might be long day or something like that. But when he open his mouth, bro, you get that sense of energy, like you back open. You know what I'm saying? You back ready, back engaged, and you ready to rock and roll. So he bring the best out of you. That's why we so raw. Everybody play like that. The way he act, everybody act in that culture in that room. He took my game to a whole different level that I didn't tap into. So, I was up for Heisman for a couple years in a row, got the most awards in Big Ten, whatever like that. But like, the thing is that I remember the most is he made me love football even more than I loved it before. So, that's that guy.
I can't move on just yet because them Florida teams he had some talent now.
For 100%.
So okay. Just somebody listening. I think he said the talent was good, but he put him in the right places. But like I just want the listeners and the viewers to know that we both agree that they had some crazy. The Percy,
hell yeah,
everyone was crazy.
Yeah, but he put them in a way where they can just be themselves.
Right. Okay.
Like he don't gotta be no robot. Like yo, if you good at this, go do that. And I ain't about to critique you. Just go score.
Yeah.
That's the type.
That's y'all needed that, especially with the talent that obviously transpires, the years later.
Yeah.
Before we get to the 2014 season, because you played the 2013 season, hell of a year again. But that's low key. Was that the first time that you had injuries in college, or maybe first time you had injuries? Like obviously you have injuries, but like serious injuries.
Yeah. Sure.
Was that 2013? Was the knee and then the shoulder?
I did have some knee too, but the shoulder. Yeah, shoulder.
So seeing a play, because I like even just before we did this, I watched that, not the game, but the highlights and then that play, to where it's like everything's looking up. Following the 6 and 7 year. You could Coach Meyer come in. You talk about the role that he played. I think you were finalists for the Heisman, all those things.
Yeah.
And then roller coaster, like I said, we're going up. And then hell of a season that 2013 year, obviously played Clemson, and then on a play, that's a touchdown.
Wow. Who's that?
I have no idea. You might have just seen you.
Nah.
Wow. On a play, that's a touchdown. To Carlos High, you end up hurting the shoulder. Obviously having to get surgery and things like that. A lot of people who have maybe, had injuries in college. In my college career, I had an ACL freshman year, Achilles sophomore year, and then another ACL my senior year. But so like I know the rehab process. I know having to fight back, doing all those things. For someone first time, and also being a quarterback and having all these, success, and then coming off the 12-0 season and things like this, everything's looking up, everything's looking promising. It's like next year we supposed to, this gonna be the year, this gonna be the national championship year, and then obviously you got to start the season, getting surgery and things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of just talk about where that puts you, mentally.
I had a great circle. I got a great group of people that's in my circle that. Things that happen, they real positive human beings. That's why I'm so relaxed and always calm, man, because I got guys in my circle that's doing things, people couldn't dream to be doing at the age that they doing it at, you know what I'm saying? So for me, getting feedback from them, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep doing what's best for me, what's the possible way to get back on that field. I don't got an ego, I never did. I don't got a pride either. So, what's the best way for me to keep playing the sport? I don't care if I come back as a DB, a punt returner, a running back. I'm an athlete, so I'm gonna figure it out. So, when I came back, I'm like, all right, well now, I got to do something different. And now I'm gonna really go crazy. Now I'm really gonna go hard than I could the previous years because I didn't really have to. But now my back against the wall. I got 1 year left. How can I get to the NFL? And that's my dream, and that's all I want to do. Just say I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I do that? You know what? I'm gonna just switch my position because I can't throw like that no more. for all the people out there, when I had my injury the second time, I could never throw over 30 yards. The injury was so traumatic. I had to get, I don't know how many blows I got on my shoulder, dog, but like the rotation on my rotator cuff and all that stuff, I couldn't get no power or anything. So,
but like, even you talk about looking at Coach Myers and his structure and his offense, and you talk about you played like you went out there to play to get hurt. That was your mentality.
Oh, I'm playing hard every snap.
And even being a quarterback though, like even like knowing now, would you not have switched up? Like maybe the play style towards like you threw a little bit more, it took a little bit less hits on your shoulder just to be able to stay playing quarterback, or you just like that because that's just who I am regardless.
I think sometimes, man, when you got a certain type of style of DNA, you can't really do nothing about it, and that's just in you, or it's gonna stick with you. I think that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I would never switch any type of style that I had. If I was, maybe like 6'5" or 6'5", 240, I wouldn't have had them injuries, but I'm 6'10", barely weighing 210. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you're prone to get hurt. I can't change the style of play. That's just what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me so special. And that's why when people look at me, they remember me not as a stat guy, they remember me as a highlight reel. Oh, man, you got to play 110 miles per hour, and you got to give 110% on the field to even do something like that. Mm-hmm. So, hey, my style of play is dedicated to me, and it's a characteristic of how, how special that way of play is, but, unfortunately, some guys play like that, didn't get hurt like I got hurt. Grace to God, I got hurt like that.
Yeah. And Kajuk, as you was definitely talking about, something special to where it's like, that year to where like you made a decision. You said you obviously couldn't throw anymore.
Yeah.
And so you made that decision, but I definitely want you to finish on that topic.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I came back from my surgery and everything. Strength is good, everything's great. Took a year off, doing my thing, rehab, but I can't play quarterback. Nobody know that. So I told Coach Meyer, me and my rehab guy did. I wasn't doing rehab in Ohio. I had to travel all the way to Alabama to get my rehab, where Dr. Injures people. So they told me prior, like, you might struggle being the quarterback he was before because your shoulder was not going to be the same. So in my back of my head, I'm like, well, I did play up this playing all positions. I did my thing doing that Pee-wee, middle school, all the way like that. I didn't really lock into be a quarterback until like my sophomore year in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I was a whole different athlete growing up. So I'm like, you know what, man? I'm going to play receiver. I want to be like Percy Harvin. I'm going to play the slot, the H-back. I'm going to tell Coach Meyer. I'm going to let him know. This is what I want to do, and that's why I'm going to change my number to number 1. I got to make a whole different image of myself. I just can't be 5. 5 is a quarterback. 1 is an athlete doing his thing, making plays, doing things that,
It's funny though, because it is a completely different person. Like,
yeah,
watching 5 highlights is like Braxton Miller 5, or is it Braxton? Are you talking about Braxton Miller 1?
Yep. So I think, man, I'm very unique when it's a visionary. So I was just strategic about the situation. If I go out there V5, I'm like, man, that's unique. That was a time lapse that God gave me. I was a great quarterback, did my thing. But now it's a new chapter in my life. I'm gonna be number 1, do my thing. Got 1 year left. That's why I got 1 in my hat too. You know what I'm saying, with Charg1ng. So I have 1 year left. Channel number 1, and I want to be the best. So, I came back from a rehab session. Like, I called Coach Meyer. Like, hey, we need to meet. I got a decision I gotta tell you. I want you to hear me out. I told him my play was, my vision was, my decision. Of course, he thought I was being able to do rehab and come back and be his quarterback again. That wasn't the case. I let him know. I can't be a quarterback, but I can play H. I can be like Percy. Of course, every time something go wrong, he'd be like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he watch on TV. So he gave me something like that. I'm like, hey, man, I can do anything that I put my mind to it. I just need your back and I need your support. So ever since then, I ain't looked back, and that's what happened. Mm-hmm. So
Not even you talk about the talent that Ohio State had. You know, we touched on that a little bit, and then just the recruiting and putting people in great positions. But before we, touch on that 2015 team, 2014, being out that year, like obviously you didn't have a chance to touch the field, and then it wasn't in the cards for you to play that year. But to be the quarterback that started the new culture at Ohio State, kind of got the team to that point of being a national championship contender and things like that, and not being able to play in that game, win that game, be on the field with the team. This is for anyone out there who's maybe not even just struggling or with any sports or anything, but just like dealing with, maybe just discomfort, feeling out of place, or just feeling like passed by or left by or be left behind. What did you do that year that kind of got you through it to continue to be a motivator, continue to be a leader? And then also, I feel like we all got some type of ego. It's like, man, I wish I was out there. I wish I was on the field. But it wasn't in your cards that year. So what did you do to get through that, and still be that leader, still be that same Braxton that everyone knew?
I had my son when I was 18, so I had to change my whole demeanor even when I had him. So for me, being a quarterback, having a kid when I was 18, being a star guy, bro, it took my game from right here to being a leader. Anything that happened in my life, negative, anything, I'm going to take it up here. I ain't going to come down to where the problem is. So for me not being out there, I'm going to be that guy up here on that sideline. I'm going to support them in having that presence where everybody see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, but I'm here, and I ain't never going to stop, and I never will stop. So I'm here to be that same guy, but I'm not going to be on that field with y'all. So I'm vocal. My swag's still the same. Still in there doing my thing in the weight room, showing up on time, still studying film. Still the same me, but I can't be out there. Right. So for me, being out there and, supporting them, and, the guys that I helped recruit get to Ohio State to play with me, they out there doing their thing. And I'm out there rooting them boys on all the way up. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it was. And I ain't never changed. I was still the same happy old me with a kid and being that leader from a distance, but not by their side.
Yeah. And that 2015, I probably would say that the 2015 talent was better than the 2014. I could be missing. It could have been some guys who left in 2014 that I'm forgetting, but because now I'm including you in the 2015 roster.
Oh,
at the slot.
Yeah, you're right.
Same quarterbacks, running back. Mike Thomas is there, and so I'm looking at the squad. I'm like, okay, we talking about it again. Like this, y'all might go back to back. I wish y'all did go back to back, so y'all ain't have to play us in the Fiesta Bowl. But Notre Dame, y'all played us in the Fiesta Bowl that year. So I'm thinking like this easily going back to back. Yeah. But y'all had a little slip up against Michigan State. We don't really need to talk about it. But playing that year, and then you talk about, I want to touch on the egos just because the amount of talent that was in the room. And you talk about the culture that Urban built. What was the practices like? I mean, I'm sure the one-on-ones, because you got Conley at corner. Who else was I don't know if Marshawn was playing at the time yet, but you had Marshawn on the roster. And who's that?
I think that Eli.
Eli. Yeah. So all the boys, Jeremy, all the boys. Yeah, Bose on the line, and the practice type. Talk about the practice. Talk about the competitiveness to where it was like you probably felt you was good in practice. Towards like if you beat guys in practice, you having success in practice, the game's gonna be easy.
Oh yeah, you practice how you play. Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna never slack with Coach Meyer out there or Coach Mink. Coach Mink is the head strength coach, assistant AD. You see Coach Meyer acting like that, and you're going to see Coach Schmidt acting like that. So there's two guys out there that got the same mentality doing their thing and pushing us to be the best version of ourselves. They got there, we go 100% miles per hour, no throttle down. Like there ain't no 70%, there ain't no 80. We're going 100. And whoever's in front of me, I don't care if my teammate or not, we gonna embarrass you. We gonna put you on that film tape. So like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, he's getting the ball 5 times. I think we got all these athletes in the room at the same time. So you dominate in practice, do your thing, they're gonna give you a chance to ball out in the game too. Even though we all follow the ball, but like, you know, you have a great practice that week, that's how you can get rewarded in the game. So everybody's out there trying to eat.
Right? Yeah, I can't even, you being a quarterback too.
Yeah.
Towards like, now the receiver room, you want the touches. Mike want touches, Jalen want touches, Zeke still need his touches. So you being in the receiver room now, like how much were you on JT or how much was you on Cardell to get you the ball?
Woo, boy. It'd be times in the game, I only run the right route just because I need to get open and get the ball. So I'm telling, you know, Cardell, like, it's supposed to be first read, third read, second read, whatever. I'm telling him, like, yo, he is not guarding. Like, just look my way. I don't care what the play is. Look at me. I'm going to get open for you. And that's how we play it sometimes. You know, I'm going to go out there, and if it's coming from me, of course, I'm going to be honest. I ain't going to be just like, oh, yeah, give me the ball. Because, no, bro, I'm killing this dude. Forget the play. Look at your boy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. You know, that's that friendship, and that's that trust. You don't care what it is. Go out there and make a play and get to that end zone. That's what's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Let's win this game. We ain't about to be a robot. If I'm killing him and the play is not in, and I'm not in the play, I'm telling you, look my way. So that's, you know, that's how it comes out to sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I want to touch on now we finally got to it. This Braxton Miller won versus Virginia Tech. Obviously the spin move.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people when people like to watch film and look back on like Perky Harvin, they always bring up a few plays. Well, they're obviously very similar to the Braxton Miller. I don't even. This is a Braxton Miller spin move to me. You go on YouTube, Google Braxton Miller spin move is like the #1 thing. So, talk about that play, because me watching it as a fan, like only time I ever hit a spin move, because I played receiver in high school. Only time I ever hit a spin move was in video games. I'm never hitting a spin move live. Never hitting a spin move in a real game, but. For some, because it's just like when you hit a spin move, it's a lot that can happen once you turn back around.
Yeah.
So for you to hit that move and hit it so like clean and obviously score at the end of it, just run me through that play. Run me through, because I feel like y'all had a little rivalry going with VT for that back-to-back year.
You see how crazy that thing went viral like that? You gotta think, dog. If you go watch our practice tapes, you will see some crazy stuff that goes down that never touches the field, because, you know, it's a different day, it's a different, we do stuff like that in practice throughout the week, every day, daily. So it wasn't new to me, it wasn't new to my teammates, maybe some of the young guys, but like the guys that know we can make plays, they've been seeing that for the past 4 years. And so being able to wait 4 years to get that big moment so everybody was there at once, I mean, that was something that's, you know, that's in our DNA, and that's how we practice. So something like that, you know, happens in practice all the time. Actually, now for us to actually do it in the game, it's a different story, because there's millions of fans watching, and it's the only game on Monday Night Football. So being able to showcase that, set them up. I mean, I seen the dude coming. That's why I play the smart on the we do stuff like that all the time. So being able to, you know, go full speed and spin on a dime and keep it moving, keep it pushing, and get to the end zone, hit the LeBron and all that, shush the crowd, whatever I did, I don't know what I did. Put my hands up, like, I'm mad. You know what I'm saying?
So y'all was hitting the LeBron for a minute. Y'all had a run hitting LeBron.
Yeah.
Because he was definitely showing love, and y'all, I mean, obviously y'all was definitely making an impact. But yeah, no, I wanted to touch on that play just because it's definitely an iconic play. It's a memorable play. Would you say that's your favorite play from your Ohio State career?
I say as a receiver. As a receiver, quarterback, different story. With so many, you know, it's one that changed my life was the Wisconsin Pro against Russell Wilson. Like the last 30 seconds of the game, me and Devin Smith connected. The whole crowd went crazy. That's when we had an up and down season. It was bad, but able to connect. and do that as a freshman, I mean, that's something you can't even fathom that you did that at a high level. And everybody's watching. That was a night game too. That, the Penn State, I mean, I did a lot of stuff, bro. The 81-yard run while I was a freshman against Indiana.
So obviously now is just looking at the quarterbacks that Ohio State put out recently. Obviously Dwayne Haskins, RIP, and then also C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields. Kind of, you being playing in an era where it was more so pro style quarterback. That was a prototypical quarterback. I feel like back then to where now it maybe transitioned to dual threat. Yeah. They want guys who can run. They want guys who can use their feet, but also, put it in the air. Kind of talk about the success that you might have, thought you had if you came out in this era.
Man, the talent change. People DNA change all the time. So having these 5-star athletes out here surrounding a quarterback, that's unmatched when you have somebody that's being able to go against anybody in double coverage and go up there and snag a ball at any given time in the game. So being able to be surrounded like that in the air like that with my skill set, with a running back and a defense, ain't no telling, dog. There ain't no telling. Yeah. We did great with the talent that we had. Mm-hmm. And we did great with the scheme we had and stuff like that. But across the board is 5 stars. Mm-hmm. It's a different ball game now. So that it comes to a point where you're so much confident in one person or 4 guys line up a receiver and you can pick anybody at any given time. It don't matter if you mess up a coverage read or something like that. Mm-hmm. They still gonna go get the ball.
Somebody gonna win.
You know what I'm saying?
But obviously still tied closely to Ohio State. Still working in Columbus. I kind of understand why you do what you do now. Where the passion come from. Where the energy come from. The mindset and just wanting to stay involved in sports when growing up it shapes so much of your life. And so I do want to ask you before we get off, if there was one thing that you wanted to tell to, an Ohio State fan, Buckeye Nation, family, just anyone who's followed you, anyone who's maybe supported you or, at times didn't support you, anything you wanted to tell them that was maybe just like misunderstood at a time or wasn't, received correctly, please, do share.
Yeah, man. When things happen in life where you can't control things that happen. You all can control what you can control. So, when I got injured, everybody showed love. Everybody, Buckeye Nation, celebrities to, people in my circle, the family members, everything. They supported me all the way up. So when I switched my position, people was really confused a little bit in a way like, why did I switch my position? They took me away from quarterback and put me over here. They took my position, this and that. The real reason is I could not come back as a quarterback. I couldn't throw over 30 yards. My shoulder was so jammed up during treatment, rehab for a whole year. I had I don't know how many bolts I got on my shoulder. Still to this day, the best decision for me to be still a dominant athlete and get to the dream I always wanted to reach, to get to the NFL, was to switch my position, be great at that, be blessed and thankful that I still got my right arm. I'm still able to play catch with my son and just go out there and make it what the dream happen and enjoy the process and be even more grateful being able to suit up and lace up again. Because, you never know, man. Stuff can be here today and gone tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I always cherish the moments that I have. And that's why, when I go out on that field, I work hard and I want to be remembered as somebody that didn't take a play off or never gave it their all. So I sacrifice, myself on plays where, hey man, it happens, but I'm going to give it 130% at all times. So that's pretty much, one of the stories that I wanted to get off and talk about. I know most people didn't know that back end story about the whole quarterback controversy thing. Yeah. It's a blessing because being out there with everybody where we all got a chance to play at one time and being able to play with, my boy Cardell, my boy JT, actually throwing me the ball.
Mm-hmm.
How better did they did? You know what I'm saying? So it's it's a story that to remember, and it's kind of different because it's kind of legendary. Because I don't think anybody did that at Ohio State. Was this that guy, and change that whole identity to something that they never even pictured themselves being. So
And still was that guy. And so obviously the transition from football now into, charging and being in the community, kind of just before we hop off, touch on that a little bit, just so the audience and viewers could, know where to support, know where to donate, anything like that.
Yeah, man. So I got a big AU program, a big sports academy that offers mentoring, STEM, football skills and drills, tournaments, camps, leagues, a lot of things that transpire with Charg1ng, So one thing is that hit home with me is every time somebody see a kid wearing Charg1ng, they always remember to go back to me. And that's what I want to remember as, man, this being somebody that set the standard high enough to where any kids that want to be in sports, they think of Charg1ng, and they think of me of doing stuff the right way, where the parents are comfortable enough to have their kids in the program with somebody leading the throne, like me and my team and stuff like that. It's a blessing. So the Instagram handle is Charg1ng, not the I, it's with the one. It's a 501c. So everything's a nonprofit underneath the AU bracket, certified. Football piece is totally different, and things is coming into fruition with my schools coming up. Well, it's a blessing, man. So,
and one thing I remember, never fooled. Battery is never fooled.
Never. I'm still going until I'm 90. I gotta make sure I eat good, work out, read. Everything gotta be full. I don't know what that will ever be. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you, bro.
Love.
It was a pleasure.
Yep.
All right, love.